The following financial analysis of Nigeria's economy does not imply that one administration has managed public debt more effectively than another. The effectiveness of debt management should be evaluated based on its impact overall economic growth and development. Data source for this analysis is provided by Dr. Kayode Olaide, Debt Management Office, Nigeria. Public debt in Nigeria encapsulates the total borrowings made by its federal, state, and local government, as well as public enterprises and selective private banks. This debt is classified into external debt, which involves borrowing from international sources, and domestic debt, which consists of loans secured from within the country. The evolution of Nigeria's public debt over the decades offers a compelling narrative of the nation's economic transformation, policy adjustment, and global financial interactions. Nigeria's public debt stories began in the early years following its independence, with the first significant external loan secured from Italy in 1964 for the Niger Dam project. This initial borrowing set the stage for future debt accumulation, which surged during the oil boom of the 1970s and early 1980s. The subsequent years saw varying degrees of borrowing and debt management challenges, particularly during periods of economic instabilities and political change. Throughout the decades, Nigeria's approach to managing its debt has fluctuated, influenced by shifts in global oil prices, changes in government and international financial agreements. From substantial debt forgiveness initiatives in the early 2000s to the recent trend under the current administration, Nigeria's public debt history is a reflection of broader economic policies and fiscal strategies. Nigeria's external borrowing commenced shortly after independence in 1964. The country secured its first loan of $13.1 million from Italy, a member of the Paris Club. This loan was allocated for the construction of the Niger Dam, marking the start of Nigeria's external debt journey. The landscape of borrowing expanded significantly during the oil boom of 1971 to 1981. With the surge in oil revenue, various government years embarked on ambitious development and reconstruction projects, particularly in the aftermath of the Civil War. The wealth generated from oil led to substantial borrowing to support these large-scale initiatives. The practice of extensive borrowing continued into the civilian era. The federal government provided guarantees for loans taken by private banks, state government, and public parastatals. However, the oil price collapse of 1982 severely impacted Nigeria's ability to repay these loans. This situation was exacerbated during the military regime from 1985 to 1998, as the Paris Club, Nigeria's main creditor, refused to reduce the debt. The military government also postponed payment, leading to debt rescheduling in 1986, 1989, and 1991. When democracy was restored in 1999 under President Olusegun Obasanjo, Nigeria inherited an external debt of $28.04 billion, with 73% owed to the Paris Club. The debt portfolio also included significant amount owed to multinational financial institutions, promissory note holders, London Club creditors, and non-Paris Club bilateral creditors. Between 1999 and December 31, 2004, Nigeria's external debt rose to $35.94 billion, with 85.82% of this amount owed to the Paris Club. The Obasanjo administration actively pursued debt relief, which yielded results in 2005 when the G8 nation, led by Great Britain, supported a debt relief initiative for Nigeria. The Paris Club agreed to forgive $18 billion of Nigeria's debt, provided that Nigeria paid $6 billion in arrears upfront, signed an agreement with the IMF, and settled the remainder in installments. This agreement led to a significant reduction in Nigeria's external debt from $35.94 billion in 2004 to $20.48 billion in 2005. By the end of 2006, Nigeria's external debt had decreased further to $3.54 billion. Despite these efforts, the debt figure rose to $3.65 billion by 2007 as the Obasanjo administration transitioned to President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua. During the Yar'Adua-Jonathan administration, external debt increased to $10.72 billion. By the conclusion of President Muhammadu Buhari's first term in June 2019, it had reached $27.16 billion. At this time, Nigeria's total public debt amounted to $83.88 billion. Under Buhari's administration, total public debt rose from $63.81 billion in 2015 to $103.42 billion by June 30, 2023. This included $43.17 billion in external debt and $70.25 billion in domestic debt. The administration added $20.07 billion to the public debt, comprising $16.44 billion in external debt and $3.63 billion in domestic debt. As of December 31, 2023, during President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration, Nigeria's total public debt was $108.23 billion, with $42.5 billion in external debt and $65.73 billion in domestic debt. By March 31, 2024, the total debt had decreased to $91.46 billion, with $42.11 billion external and $49.35 billion domestic debt. This suggests that Tinubu's administration has prioritized servicing debt over incurred new debt. Nigeria's public debt history is a multifaceted story of economic ambition, international negotiations, and domestic policy shift. After the debt relief of the early 2000s, subsequent administrations have worked to keep Nigeria's debt to GDP ratio below the recommended 30% threshold. While debt itself is not necessarily harmful, its effective management and utilization are crucial to ensuring it does not unduly burden future generations. As Nigeria continues to address its economic challenges, the lessons from its debt history shows the importance of sustainable fiscal policies. Don't forget, I'm Sir Mickey, and this is History Book. If you like this episode, please comment on the section, like this channel, and subscribe. I'll be back on the next one.